Hey everyone! Today I'll be trying out something new for myself. Today I'll be taking ice rail here in Germany for the first time. I'm here at the central station in Munich, and I'll be traveling to the city of Mainz, just outside of Frankfurt. I was grabbing lunch just away from the station, so I decided to put my bags away in a locker. After taking some time to figure out how they work, I soon found out that every locker I came across was broken, or just not accepting my money. So I decided to lug my bags on the U-Bahn to take it to the Victual Market, where I grabbed a quick and busy lunch. I apologize in advance for some of my pronunciations during this video. Definitely not the greatest. I noticed I was running short on time, so I took the mile walk, as the S-Bahn was closed for the weekend. Despite being somewhat in a hurry, that's what I actually really like a lot about trains here in Europe. You can just show up and walk on a few minutes prior to departure times, and not worry about lineups or security checks. I showed up with about 20 minutes to spare, only to realize that my train was delayed about 70 minutes. Then, it was eventually cancelled. There was an announcement, but it was all in German. I went up to the info booth, and the kind attendant redirected me to my new train. I'll try to explain this to the best of my abilities, but I am no train expert. I just like them. This is ICE 3, a fairly modern looking train for something that was introduced in 1999. I purchased a second class seat for only 34 euros, plus an extra 4 for a reserved seat. But I imagine at this point, the reserved seat wasn't valid, and I couldn't find a seat or a car number on my ticket. Anyways, here's the seat. It's laid out in a standard 2-2 configuration. The seat has a large tray table and a neat seat back pocket. Waste bin and one power outlet. Above, there's a storage rack. It doesn't look like much, but it can actually store a full-size suitcase. Also, in some cars, there are luggage storage areas. The seat reclines forward while still maintaining a good amount of legroom. Lastly, there's a comfortable headrest. And I wasn't too sure what this QR code was at first. Turns out, it was just a link to a survey. We departed right on time, and we're on our way to Mainz. This journey will take exactly 4 hours, with stops in Nuremberg, Würzburg, and Frankfurt, and a few other small cities along the way. Right out of Munich, and we were on one of the high-speed portions of the trip. But this was fairly short-lived compared to the rest of the journey. Checking out the toilet, I was actually pretty impressed with how nice and clean this was. They are very sleek considering how frequently these trains are used. I guess the graffiti is a bit of a turnoff. We made our first stop in a city I'm going to have a lot of trouble pronouncing. From this point, the train was on slower track for the rest of the trip, as this is somewhat common in Germany. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed the scenic views of the German countryside. I wanted to check out the dining car, but I wasn't too sure what was going on here. It either just closed, or it wasn't open yet. Regardless, I wasn't that hungry yet. Next stop was Nuremberg, where we stopped for about 20 minutes. From here, the train got pretty full, and there were some passengers hanging out near the doors. This seat is so spacious, I had no issues fitting my laptop and a hard drive on the tray table. I was typing out a script for a solid 2 hours, and occasionally I would glance outside just to enjoy the views. This is actually something you'd completely miss while flying. The next stop was Würzburg, where we sat for another 15 minutes. I really appreciate the economics of high-speed trains here in Europe, as this is something we don't have in North America. The frequency, timing, and reliability is amazing, not to mention the price too. This was a fraction of what it cost me to fly. This portion of the trip, we entered the mountainside between here and Frankfurt. The evening was drawing close, and it painted a nice sunset over the landscape as we entered the greater Frankfurt area. Another 15-minute stop at Frankfurt, then another 5 at the airport. I'll be honest, this is a luxury and an amazing option compared to what we have in North America. With quick and reliable long-distance rail connections from the airport, this is barely existent back home. Even though I wasn't on one of the high-speed lines here, I still really enjoyed my time. Compared to flying, the timing of this trip would be pretty close. I just love how trains can take you from one city center to another city center, minus all the hassle of flying sometimes. Flying makes more sense long distance, but domestically in Europe is more convenient. Also, this ticket was purchased 2 days before and was still relatively cheap. After 4 hours, we arrived in Mainz, a few minutes behind schedule, but no big deal. Next time I'm in Europe, I'll take the time to take the high-speed trains again. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.